All right, let's come to this. There's been mixed reaction to the International Monetary Fund's decision to grant South Africa a loan for COVID-19 emergency funding. Let's chat now to Mr. Cas Coovadia, the CEO of Business Unity South Africa. Mr. Coovadia, thank you so much for your time and welcome to eNCA. I mean, there is concerns around this particular IMF loan. Yes, on one side, it's quite a positive in a sense that it will assist where government, or at least the country, sees a gap just in terms of mediating when it comes to COVID-19. But then we can't ignore all these calls of concerns around whether or not this funding, number one, comes with conditions, and number two, if it's safe, it's in safe hands, there won't be any looting that would disrupt its mission. So let's start perhaps with the conditions that the IMF, if any, has attached to this loan that we know about.
Well, thank you for having me. Look, the only thing I've seen is a statement by National Treasury that the loan has been approved. We haven't seen any conditions yet. I assume there would be conditions. The media has speculated that one of the conditions would be fiscal discipline and ensuring that the money is appropriately utilized according to the IMF emergency COVID funding conditions, which we will see. So there will be conditions, but let's just understand that this isn't the normal sort of IMF structural adjustment loan. This is a emergency COVID loan that IMF has made available to countries to help them navigate their way through the COVID pandemic. And so it will be useful because let's understand that our country has a serious fiscal situation. Our economy is not growing. We have limited funds in the country, and government has limited funds. And so we had to go out to raise funding to help us manage our way through the COVID pandemic, and we've received funding from the New Development Bank, the African Development Bank, and now the IMF. So we should be, in our view, happy that the IMF has agreed to give us this loan. We will look at the conditions when they are published, and hopefully we can meet those conditions. But your second issue, I think that it is absolutely critical that the money is used in a transparent way. It is accounted for in a transparent way. We have seen the unconscionable looting that has taken place during the COVID pandemic. It is absolutely unconscionable that even in the context of a pandemic that's killing hundreds of people in our country, there are people and there are businesses and government officials who still continue to loot and continue to take advantage of a situation where there's a national pandemic to actually enrich themselves. So this money must be accounted for in a transparent way. I think the public needs to understand every step of the way how this money is used and where it is applied, and I am sure the IMF will state as one of its conditions that they want clear accountability for the utilization of these funds.
Right. When it comes to also further concerns that have been raised, I mean, just the amount of, debt that South Africa currently has, obviously due to COVID-19, it was almost just unavoidable not to seek further loan and funding to assist with the COVID-19 emergency fund that we need as a country. But as a country, will South Africa be able, to honor the debt that is already being incurred, not only from this particular fund that we received from the IMF, but also calculated with the debt that the country had pre-COVID-19?
Yeah, so in the work we've done through Business for South Africa, we have identified that South Africa has a serious sovereign debt problem. But we also identify that because of the fact that during the Zuma years, the economy was mismanaged, there was significant looting. We did not have growth. In the last 5 years, even during the new administration, we have not done significant things that we need to do to actually attract investment and put our country onto a growth path. So even pre-COVID, we were in recession. In the beginning of the COVID pandemic, Moody's downgraded us, so we effectively a sub-investment grade economy. And the only way to actually address this, the only way to ensure that we do repay the loans we have, that we limit going out for more money, to borrow more money, is to actually attract investment, get growth going again at reasonably high and sustainable levels, so that we can form new businesses, we can make it easier for businesses to actually establish in the country, we can make it easier for current businesses to grow and to be profitable so that they pay tax, our people have jobs and they pay tax, and in that way we broaden and deepen our tax base, and that's the only way we're going to be able to actually address our fiscal situation.
Right.
So there's some fundamentals. We've got to create the environment for growth. We've got to create the environment for us to be competitive against other emerging nations. We need to create the environment for inclusive and sustained growth, and that's the only way we're going to be able to address our perilous fiscal situation.
All right, this way we'll leave it, but thank you so much for your time, Mr. Cas Coovadia, the CEO of the Business Unity South Africa.